What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28. That's the one, the only. It is Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, happy Friday, buddy. What's going on?
Yeah, that one crept up quick. I got caught in a weird time envelope. I thought it was late for Thursday, so I'm relieved to know that I'm not late.
You're not late. You're right on time, my friend. Dude, before we get going to today's show, let's kick it over to main mission. It's the ultimate Easter egg, a streaming campaign like no other, a mission with the goal to change lives in real life. I challenge you to join me on the main mission, a charity stream campaign to raise funds for Covenant House. From March 7th to April 1st, we welcome everyone to join this fundraising mission to benefit youth who are homeless, trafficked, or at risk. The campaign will feature prizes, giveaways, and big surprises. And on April 2nd, we join forces with some of the biggest content creators and gamers to raise maximum funds. Help us change the game. Can we count you in? That's right, Scott. We are supporting the main mission, Covenant House charity stream out of Toronto. This will be live on April 2nd, but you can join right now. Mainmission.ca. Go help support a great cause. Scott, we have a great show where people can be joining us live right now over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at ITG Reviews. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Dude, coming up on today's show, Ubisoft reveals a new program for Skull and Bones.
This one caught my eye.
Dang right it did. Overwatch 2 looks to take the Halo Infinite launch approach. We'll get into that one. And the Canadian Video Game Award nominees are ready to go. Scott, let's get going, man. I want to talk about this right now as it's Ubisoft opens up Insider program for Skull and Bones. This comes from Ed Nightingale over at Eurogamer. Ubisoft has opened its Insider program for pirate multiplayer game Skull and Bones. The Insider program allows specially selected players to get a glimpse of an early build of the game to give, quote, real data and feedback, end quote. Only those who are dedicated to testing work-in-progress versions of our game will be selected, but you can apply yourself to take part. I think you have to go to skullandbones.com. We have no link here, Scott. I'm guessing at that point. The application states that, quote, ideal candidates are Skull and Bone fans with a keen interest in game development and plenty of time to allocate to testing and reporting issues, bugs, or general feedback, end quote. Scott, this game was announced way back in 2017.
I'm wondering what they're dealing with right now. What kind of a test is that going to be? How does it look at this point? If they want real data, it's telling me it's not a demo.
No. So
they want somebody serious. They want people that are serious with the time commitment, and that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. I think at this point, they can't afford to have a bad launch, right? They need to crush this launch. This has to come out. We already heard about, like, they're $120 million in the hole on this game. So, like, that's not man, they are not going to make that money back. I'm calling
not a good starting spot.
No, they're so far behind in this development of the game. It's seen new iteration after new iteration and so forth, and with all that time taken into account, it's had a real hard issue getting that up to the forefront of where everybody kind of knows what the game is. They've had to, it sounds like, go back to the drawing board numerous times. I'm definitely curious to see what the game looks like now. I'm not signing up for this. I will let somebody else do all that, and then I will get my hands on the final game.
It's a curious choice of words, though. They want a fan of Skull and Bones. I think that would apply to yourself more than anyone at this point, because how are you a fan of something that's just an idea?
Whoa. We've been waiting so long for this thing that I'm curious to see what the whole final design even looks like. But if you want your opportunity to get in, the problem is you'll be signing so many NDAs, you're not going to be able to say anything, right? You're there to bug test. You're basically a tester is what they're asking for. But does that mean you're not getting paid? Like, they have internal testers. That's what their job is to do, is to crash the game, break the game, and find the bugs that are going to help solve all those issues for players on day one when the game comes out. Now we all talk about how day one comes and then there's a day one patch. That's just part of life right now in the world of video games. I don't think that is ever going to change now, Scott.
You just reminded me of the game I'm not going to speak on because of review purposes, but
Sure.
I wish they had some testers in that one, let me tell you, because there's some weirdness going on, but it gives me... I used to work with a guy that did game testing in Ubisoft Toronto.
Nice.
And I believe they paid him out in a contract basis. So I don't know if that's how this one works at all, but that's something to consider. They do generally pay.
We'll see what happens. We all know that this ship mechanic kind of came in the respawn of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games of all time. Dude, that was so good. But then we've just been kind of waiting on the sidelines to see what happens with Skull and Bones. I'm curious because they went from you're the ship to putting you as the captain to now, I don't know where we're at with this game at this point, right? So
now it's like, I'm not sure if you're managing crew at this point or what the kind of weapon specs are and stuff. There's a lot of things that I want to learn, especially in regards to this test. But you're right. I don't think anybody's going to be allowed to speak about it. And certainly not us if we were to get into it.
No,
I'd be very surprised.
Are you expecting a third person perspective in this game, or are you going to be more of like a sim related? You're the ship experience. Like we don't know since they've redone this entire game, right?
Yeah, I would expect just a third person, same way Black Flag ran it.
Yep.
That's kind of what I'm imagining, just because it's all I really know about it. But
sure.
A first-person perspective would be interesting if you are the ship.
That'd be weird. It'd be really weird.
I'm not sure how that one would work. But.
Oh man! So here's the thing. Now, when this was initially launched or announced, right, we're gonna get this on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So have they updated the graphics package and all that stuff for PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S? Like,
it'd be funny if they downgraded it just for the sake of putting something out there. They're like, hey, it runs real nice on 360.
You can get it across 3 generations: PS3, PS4, PS5. We'll be talking about that later in this week in the show.
Into another thing,
do you think we see it this year? I think was my other big question. Now at this point, if they're looking for these testers, right? We are right now, and we're in March. I almost said February. We're in March. So do they have enough time to get the feedback from everybody here, have that polished, and then they launch it this holiday season? I think that's what we might see. Vita all the way for this gem. Welcome to the show, Northern Nerdcast.
We just gotta rub that salt in every time we can.
Vita Island. Yeah. Do you think we see it this year, Scott? I think that's the biggest thing now.
I don't think so. I think we're talking early to middle next year, just because we haven't seen anything, literally nothing about it so far. Other than this, I believe this is a concept trailer that we have playing, and that's the lightest I think anybody's seen of this.
Yeah.
So I think towards the end of this year, we'll start seeing concept kind of cutscenes and things like that. Like, I think they're testing for this wave of testing is more of like a proof of concept.
Sure.
Does this idea work? Can we get people to, raise the sails, drop the anchor? Does it work?
Yeah, man. You know what? I'm optimistic with this one, Scott. We'll see. But
I'm really hopeful.
I think we're really looking at early 2023 is when we're going to see anything on this game, and then probably launch mid 2023. Because I think they still have a lot of work ahead of them. But we will see.
Do you think we can get Captain Kenway?
Oh, dude, really? Like, that'd be
cool.
It would be smart, right? If you want to pull in the Assassin's Creed fans, that's what you got to do. You got to tap back into our hearts of Black Flag and bring it all in. You know what I mean? Like, bring it all, dude. Give it all.
The horrific thought is Sam Fisher would be the latest crew member. The way Ubisoft plays him.
No, let's not do that. Northern says maybe something shown at TGS. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see anything this year from Skull and Bones.
When is TGS now?
I think it's summertime. Summertime. Yeah. All right, let's move on to what Blizzard is up to as they're decoupling Overwatch 2's PvP and PvE. PC beta announced for April. This comes from Wesley LeBlanc over at Game Informer. Blizzard has announced that it is decoupling Overwatch 2's PvP and PvE experiences in an effort to get PvP content into the hands of players faster. This sounds like a very familiar scenario with Halo Infinite's multiplayer, Scott.
It sounds like we're not getting Forge on Overwatch 2.
Well, right? This is, oh man. Oh, okay. Blizzard announced the news in a press release that it also reveals a PC PvP closed beta is happening this April. While it's closed, you can sign up to request access to the beta on playoverwatch.com, and if you're lucky enough, you'll be selected to participate in this PC beta late next month. Quote, Overwatch is evolving, a press release reads, in our steps towards increased communication and consistent cadence of updates for our community, we are incredibly excited to share information about our plans for the upcoming months. We are changing our release strategy by decoupling. That's a weird term, man. Overwatch 2's PvP and PvE experiences from one another to get new PvP content into your hands sooner while we continue to work on PvE. Scott, this is exactly what Halo did. Like,
almost the same verbiage. You could almost just like fill in the blanks, but well, the first is worry. Okay, there's something going on. They're worried about timeline, and so there's more issue under the hood than we're aware of. But Activision Blizzard, we are aware of quite a bit, so a lot of it. But it's not so foreign when you look at how Overwatch 1 came out. So I feel like there's a better way they could have worded this. Like, hey, don't worry, it's going to be Overwatch 1 style. We're going to drip it in with events. We're going to add one after the other. And that would be far less concerning for me to hear that way, because I'm used to that. That's totally okay. Well, but to say, well, we're going to decouple, it makes me think, were they planning on having a full campaign, like a one-player campaign?
Yes, okay. They are. That's the thing. This Overwatch 2 is coming with a campaign, a single-player campaign experience, right? So
I was thinking just a multiplayer, but only PvE.
No, it's supposed to come with a campaign. That was a big push for the sequel, is to add in new game modes, new characters, this, that, the other, new maps, blah, 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 blah. But also bring in a campaign to bring in those who are so tied to single player content in a story to have a better understanding of the world of Overwatch, right?
The story about the characters in Overwatch are always so well done.
Yes.
Like, they have those kind of almost Pixar looking kind of cutscenes, and they're awesome. I really want to play those in Overwatch 2. You know, that one with the Tracer comes to mind.
Yeah.
The world needs a hero.
Exactly.
It gave me goosebumps, dude. I was so ready.
So this is my concern then, is how much of the game is actually ready? Do they want to push because of investors, right? That's the biggest fear. We've seen Halo come out. Halo multiplayer drops. Everybody's all over it. And now it disappeared, right? Campaign drop. Now that's come and gone. It's been like little trickles of information here or there. The community is there for Halo, but I don't think, it's not like everybody's talking about it now, right? And this is kind of where I'm wondering if Overwatch is going to fall into the same trap of, okay, you know what, we've been giving you Overwatch 1 for so long, here's the sequel, but it's only half the game. And this is kind of what we're at right now with Halo, because we didn't get a co-op mode, we didn't get a Forge mode, right? We're still waiting on that content, which seems to get delayed and delayed and delayed. Overwatch 2 over with Blizzard is kind of lining themselves up to be in the same situation. Okay, you're going to give us the PvP content. How soon are we going to get that? How long are we going to keep being there? Because how much of that is done? Are you going to have the battle passes ready to go, right? How are you going to keep that community alive and then get us ready and geared up or excited for the single player content instead of being like dried out in a month or two?
It is more of a multiplayer only
kind of
thing than Halo ever was. Like, it's more acceptable for Overwatch to do this and drip it in than Halo was.
Right.
Because everybody was drawn from that. You know, you played Halo 1 or 2 with your friend on the couch. So that had to have a campaign. So it's not as concerning as maybe it sounds for Overwatch. But as long as they don't release, this isn't EA. If it were EA, I'd be more worried they're going to put 2 shooters before and after this in the same week and then bury Overwatch. But I don't think we have to worry about that in this scenario.
Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But to me, it's like, okay, we need to put this game out to start making some money off of it, because we've been putting so much and then delay and then putting more into it, right? And not making anything off of it. So I'm curious to see how it drops. But Scott, let's get into the Canadian Game Awards nominees. This comes from Stephen, a friend of the show, Stephen Bagbari, who is writing for this. It is the 2022 Canadian Game Awards is right around the corner, and we are ready to lift the curtain on this year's nominees. Here we go, Scott. Are you ready? Best Art Direction. Friends of the show would be Clan O'Connell and The Crown of the Stag. Also nominated.
Hey, you said that really well the
Thank you.
First time around. That's funny.
Take that, Nate.
Oh man, that's never gonna not be funny.
That's an internal thing at ITG. So other nominees for best art direction are Far Cry 6, Witchwood, Wind and Leaves, Age of Empires 4, Sky. So we'll see for best art direction. From there, we got into best game design, Far Cry 6, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Moonglow Bay, Inscription. That one might just take it. We'll see. Lego Star Wars Castaways. Dude, I never played that at all.
No, I wasn't even aware of that title, actually.
Nope. We also have best soundtrack, best performance, Giancarlo Esposito for Far Cry 6. Man, that's
a very safe.
Yeah,
that's a very safe bet, I believe.
I would think so as well. You also get John McLaren as Star-Lord, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Alex for Rocket over there, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Jack Black for Psychonauts 2. So yeah, you can check out more on that. They also have Best Narrative. Scott, this is an interesting one that kind of caught my eye. Have not played it though. Best Narrative, Echo Generation.
I feel like I have played that, but I really can't remember now.
I have not. I know I have
That's
not.
That's the problem when you play 300 games a year. They all start blending together a little bit.
There's also Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think stands a great chance. There's Moonglow Bay, Witchwood, and Boyfriend Dungeon.
That has some narrative that I'm not aware of, but there is something to that game.
Skip on that one, I think. And then we get into best PC games. Age of Empires 4. Scott, you and I had a blast playing that one. Mass Effect, a Legendary Edition.
Oh, I had way more of a blast playing that one than you did.
Yes, yeah, we won't get into that.
Mass Effect 2, is one of the best RPGs there ever was.
Yeah, the problem is you got to get through the first one. There's also Discovery Tour, Viking Age of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Inscription. Best console game, Discovery Tour, Viking Age of Assassin's Creed, or from Assassin's Creed. That one's an interesting one. I guess because I looked at this one. What? This is a whole Viking. This is a game on its own within Valhalla.
Oh wow! So, I'm not even aware of that one.
So you play.
I might have heard something about it, showing off some of the tech at the time or the culture of it. It was more of an educational.
It is absolutely an educational learning thing for the Viking time period. I took a look into it, dude. There's like 4 heroes you play as, and it actually, I might give it a shot now that I saw this. But also nominated for best console game was Far Cry 6, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, FIFA 22, and Echo Generation. Let's check out the world of VR, Scott, as they have the best VR and AR game. Pistol Whip, Smoke and Thunder. Arcadia TV, Winds and Leaves. I played that game. That game's cool. Dark Threads and Doom 3 VR.
I didn't know there was a Doom 3 VR.
Me either.
I might be busting my VR out today. I've been saying that all year, but for Doom, I think I'm obligated.
There you go. Game of the Year nominees, Scott. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, FIFA 2022, Far Cry 6, Echo Generation, and Boyfriend Dungeon. I kind of think Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is going to get that one.
I think that's possible. Certainly that or Far Cry 6. I think that would be the safe bets.
I think so. Scott, this next one surprised me, and this is a you title. Why don't you take it?
Yes, this is. I have mixed feelings about this.
I figured
Elite
you would.
Dangerous is, well, I like to refer to that as that's my World of Warcraft. I never got into some big MMOs except for Elite Dangerous, and I put hundreds of hours into that. But they have canceled the Odyssey expansion and all future content for consoles. They're now focusing on PC. So again, I have mixed feelings on that because I migrated over to PC myself just for VR and the throttle. So that I'm luckily still in the running here, but Frontier Developments has made the decision to discontinue releasing new content for Xbox and PlayStation. The development of the console version and its poorly received Odyssey expansion has ceased. They've heard too much feedback, and that was enough for them.
Dude, it was not good.
No, they have struggled to fix what was going on after the launch of Odyssey on PC. The expansion was supposed to have a brave new frontier for the space sim, giving players long-requested ability to stretch their legs. Yes, all the players refer to as space legs, but it went through with a really bad launch, and that's awful. There's bad performance issues. The servers got cut. There's a lot of bugs to it, and it became one of the most negative reviewed objects on Steam. That's not a record you want to set.
No, not at all, Scott. That's gonna be pretty disheartening for a lot of fans in that world that were looking for something a little bit different coming out of Elite Dangerous. And it was, dude, I was so shocked. I'm like, man, you guys are now in the realm somewhat of No Man's Sky for being able to get out of your ship, right, and go out and do other things. I thought that raised a lot of excitement within the fans, and I know you were pumped. But you were talking about this a lot.
You're supposed to be able to go into the bars and chat up other players and stuff, and they really opened it up instead of being a menu game when it comes to those aspects. It just hurts to me that they fumbled something like that, because it seemed to be such an easy pass. Everybody who plays Elite Dangerous is aware of No Man's Sky, of course. And Star Citizen is the other one where everybody says, well, that game's better, and there's a constant forum wars about that. But this is one step towards being Star Citizen. It's almost like it's vaporware. It would have been better off if it was not released, which is just not what you want to see out of your favorite space sim.
Dude, like, where were the testers involved here? Like, what happened to the fact that like nobody saw any of these bugs and they just put it out there? It's one thing if they would have launched. Did they launch it at the time? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it early access or did they just put it out there?
I think it was early access, but I think that's just kind of how they release all their new content. But it was kind of like a, hey, it's you're the insider kind of updates.
Right. Yeah, but it was so negatively received that they just had to take it down. Now it's not even going to make its way to console. Like, that was what a missed opportunity here for for an option of expanding Elite Dangerous, right? Because, dude, you've been talking about this game for years, ever since you came on the show.
It was one that I'd seen coming out from like several years ago. I was watching old Elite Dangerous, or Elite 3, I believe it was.
Right.
The precursor games, and I was getting so excited. And it lived up to exactly what I wanted it to do.
Well, there you go, buddy. But, dude, let's get into one more quick one here. Is Gamescom 2022 will be a physical event with an extensive online offering. This comes from Stephanie over at VG 24/7. This year's Gamescom will take place in both the real and virtual worlds. The physical portion of the event will be held in the Coliseum in Cologne, alongside an extensive digital program available online worldwide. So there you go, Scott. We're slowly getting back into things here.
Yeah, that's the biggest piece of news for me, is that we may finally see a return to what we're used to, and I'm just glad that I don't have to join up on the metaverse to watch this one.
There you go.
I will eventually, I'm sure, but I'm resistant.
But until then, Scott, we do have a whole game out today. What do we have?
That's right. We have WWE 2K22. That's on PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, and PC. And I believe this is the one that features Machine Gun Kelly.
Yes, actually, you're correct. Neither one of us on this team of ITG are wrestling fans, so we skipped out on that one. But I know a lot of people were skeptical because of how bad 20 was, and a lot of people though are saying this one's good. So if you're looking forward to it, there's your chance. But Scott, that's going to wrap up today's show. Everybody, this has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you all the world and greatest news. You can always join us live over at twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at ITG Reviews. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Everybody have a great weekend. I'm Drew. That's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.